Hello dear students, welcome to this next video on the course Introduction to Probability. In the last video we have seen that how we can use the conditional probabilities to compute the unconditional probabilities. So that particular approach was useful when our experiment is having sequential outcomes, right? So it means that we can register the outcomes of the experiment in a sequential manner, right? So this video here we are going to discuss about multiplication rule. That is just an extension of what we had done in the last video, right? So I will explain you what is the multiplication rule. So suppose you are given two events a1 and a2. So if you are given two events a1 and a2 are your two events, then what is the probability of happening like a2 happens when a1 has already been given, right? So it is equal to, using the definition of conditional probability, a2 intersection a1 divided by probability of a1, provided probability of a1 is positive. It should not be 0, right? So it implies that from here you can write probability of a1 intersection a2 is equal to probability of a1 into probability of a2 given a1. Okay, so it means that we can compute the probability of this event, which is the intersection of a1 and a2, as just probability of a1 if you know the probability of a1 and conditional probability, right? So we can use this conditional probability to compute the probability of this particular event here, a1 intersection a2. Similarly, if you have more than two events, suppose you have three events a1, a2 and a3, right? In that case, what can I do? You see, if I go for probability of a1 into probability of a2 given a1 into probability of a3 given a1 intersection a2, so this will be equal to probability of a1. Here we will use the definition. So this is probability of a2 upon probability of a1 intersection a2, and this is equal to probability of a3 divided by probability of a1 intersection a2 intersection I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong definition here. So this is equal to probability of a2 intersection a1 divided by probability of a1, right? And this is equal to, this term here is probability of a3 intersection a1 intersection a2 divided by probability of this set, which is probability of a1 intersection a2. Now here you see, this will cancel with this and this will cancel with this. So this term which we have just multiplied three terms, this is equal to, we are left with this term, probability of a1 intersection a2 intersection a3. So it means that if you want to compute the probabilities of like probability of this intersection event, that is a1 intersection a2 intersection a3, then I can use the conditional probabilities. This is equal to probability of a1 into probability of a2 given a1 into probability of a3 given a1 intersection a2. So you see, in this way we can compute the unconditional probabilities using the conditional probabilities. Now you can go further. If you are giving you are given four events a1, a2, a3 and a4, then also you can go for the probability of intersection of events I from 1 to 4 will be equal to probability of a1 into probability of a2 given a1 into probability of a3 given a1 intersection a2 into probability of a4 given in a1 intersection a2 intersection a3. Okay, so in general we can generalize this thing. So we if we have n events, right, a1 a2 an, right, and obviously we assume that here probability of a1, all the events they have positive probabilities, right? So whatever is in the denominator, we don't worry that that is 0, right? If you are given n events, then probability of intersection of those events I from 1 to n will be equal to probability of a1, then probability of a2 given a1, and then probability of a3 given a1 intersection a2, and so on, probability of an given a1 intersection a2 intersection an minus 1. In this way we can always go for the calculation of probability of this event using the conditional probabilities here. Right now, if you try to look at like this is the mathematical calculations we have done for the multiplication rule, and this rule is called multiplication rule. This rule is called multiplication rule. Right, so you can also have a, you can make a tree. So here what we are saying is, suppose you start your experiment. So this is your experiment, right? So this is that event A happens, right? Then you reach here, and then this branch here is event A2 happens when A1 has already, like, it is already there. So it means that this branch here, this corresponds to probability of A2 that A1 has already happened. And then there is a next branch which is A3 happens, given that A1 and A2 they already happened. Then this branch registers the probability that A3 happens when A1 and A2 has already been there, they are already there, and then and so on. So you will go like this and this and this. At last you will have something that AN happens, right? So it means that here this probability will be, what is the probability of AN when A1 intersection up to AN minus 1 has already, they are already there, right? So this node, this corresponds to A1 intersection A2 intersection AN. Why? Because here how you are reaching this node, you are starting from, this is your root, this is your root. So what you are doing, you are starting from your root, then you are going that A1 happens, then you are going A2 happens, then you are going A3 happens, then you are going A4 happens, and so on. So it means that when you finally reach here, every event has been there. It means that this node corresponds to A1 intersection A2 intersection AN. So if we go by the last video, if we want to compute the probability of any node, then we have to trace back whole of the path till the root. Okay, so we go like this. So we multiply this probability. Here is probability of AN given A1 A2 AN minus 1 and so on. You keep on multiplying. So what you will get? So you will get from here that probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection AN will be equal to first probability of A1 into probability of A2 that A1 has already happened, then probability of A3 when A1 intersection A2 are there, and so on, then probability of AN when A1 intersection A2 up to intersection AN minus 1 are there, right? So this is how you obtain your multiplication rule. Okay, so this is, we will this rule we will use in many problems. So I have like 2 problems in this video we will discuss. So first one is, it's a simple problem. You can just read the statement and then you can try the problem on your own and try to use the multiplication rule. So read the statement. 3 cards are drawn from an ordinary 52 card deck without replacement. It means that you draw the first card and then you draw the second card, you don't put the card back. Okay, then the question is, find the probability that none of the cards is a heart. Okay, assume that at each step each one of the remaining cards is equally likely to be picked up, so there is no biasness. Okay, right. So it means that this particular experiment, what we are looking for is, if we start, this is our root, so we want that first card is not a heart. First card is not a heart, right? So this is our A1, and then you reach here, then you want that second card is not a heart again. Second card is not a heart. Okay, and then you reach here and then you go again, that third card is not a heart. Okay, so you see, you reach here. So some people, they must have a confusion that is this the complete tree for this experiment? No. So if we want to have a complete tree, so complete tree will be when you start from the root, there is another branch, that first card is a heart. First card is a heart, right? And then you have from here you will have branches, further branches. Okay, and here also you have second card is not a heart. second card is not a heart, right, then you will have branches here. And here also you will have third card is not a heart, card is not a heart, is a heart, sorry, not we have already registered, is a heart, here is a heart, and here also it's that is a heart, right. So you have branches here too, okay, and this is the path we are interested in, so that is why we will always just make this portion of the path. So this is the path we are interested in, so that is why we will always just make this portion of the path. Fine. Okay, now let us register the probabilities. Let me draw again. So we are going here that first card is a heart, is not a heart, then you have second not a heart, and then we have third not a heart, third not a heart. Okay, now what is the probability that first card is not a heart, right? So it means that there are, see, in the 52 deck of cards, you have 13 for heart and 13 for diamond, 13 for your spade, and 13 for your what else is left, club, right? So there are 13 cards which are heart, and we don't want a heart. It means that 39 total cards, we can choose any of the 39 divided by 52. So this is the probability of A1. Let us say that AI means ith card is not a heart, card is not a heart. Okay, so this probability of A1 is 39 by 52. Now what is the probability of A2? That second card is not a heart when first card is not a heart, right? Now you see, you know, you are sure that first card is not a heart. It means that there are 13 cards still which are heart. So you are left with, you see, you had 52 total cards. Now you have 51 cards. And out of these 51s, you are sure that 13 cards are heart, and 38 you will be left with 38 more cards, right? 38 more cards which are not heart, and you want to choose from these cards. So your probability will be 38 divided by 51. Okay, and then so this branch has the probability A2 given A1 is 38 divided by 51, right? And now you want that your third card is not a heart. So now you see, you had 50 cards, and you are sure that out of these 50, all the hearts are still intact because you have not taken any heart out, right? So 13 cards are heart, and you have 37 other cards which are not heart. So probability of A3, that third card is not a heart, given that A1 and A2 has already occurred, so that will be 37 by 50. Fine. So it means that this branch has the probability A3 given A1 intersection A2. This is equal to 37 by 50. Now this event, which is a probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3, because we want that all the cards are not heart. So this is the event we are interested in, because we want first card to not be a heart, second card without a heart, and third card also should not be a heart. So we are interested in the intersection event. So this is by multiplication rule is equal to probability of A1, probability of A2 given A1 into probability of A3 given A1 intersection A2. So this is equal to, first probability of A1 is 39 by 52, and then probability of A2 given A1 is 38 by 51, and then probability of A3 given A1 intersection A2 is 37 by 50, right? So this will be equal to, you can just do the computation that what is the answer. Is that thing clear? So this is how you are going to use the multiplication rule for computing the probabilities. But I think there is a simpler approach also. This is just because I wanted to tell you that how you have to use the multiplication approach. So any of you, if you have already guessed that what is the simplest approach, so answer with this approach is that the required probability is equal to, this is equal to 39 into 38 into 37 by 52 into 51 into 50. So there is another approach. So you can pause the video and you can write in the comment box what is another approach, right? You can take like maybe break for 2 minutes, and then you can think that how you can do this same problem with some another approach, because that is a way you learn, right? If you are just copying my approach, that okay, this is how she is teaching, so we will do like this. No, you should think that what else we can do, because there are so many paths to do a single problem, right? And when you learn about many paths, then you develop your ability to do the problems which are not seen. Okay, so that helps you in examinations, and also in general that helps you, right? And that is also very interesting. So second approach is simply you think about that. You don't want a heart. It means that you want any card. You have 39, there are 13 cards which are hearts, and this is not a heart, right? And you have to choose 3 cards, right? So out of these cards, right, you have to choose any 3 cards. So 39C3 divided by total number of possible outcomes, that is 52C3, right? So this is equal to 39, 38, 37 divided by 321 divided by 52. And this also, because we are taking one at a time, so it means that you can write like this, that for the first time we will take 39 divided by 52, and the second time we are left with 38 cards here, right? So divided by 52, and for the third time we are left with 37 51 total. 37 divides by 50. So you don't have to make the tree and everything, that is not required. However, in this approach also, if you look deeply, the same thing we are doing, but this is much simpler to think. Okay, so you'll get the same answer, right? Okay, there is one more problem which is also interesting. So here you see we have a class consisting of 4 graduate students and 12 undergraduate students. So we have a class where we have 16 students, and we have 4 graduate students and 12 undergraduate students. They are randomly divided into 4 groups. Now we have to make 4 groups. So it means that 4 students in each group. What is the probability that each group includes a graduate student? Right? So because you want a uniform distribution, so we want that a graduate student should be there in each group. So it's not that we want that one group has 4 graduate students and all the 3 they don't have any graduate student, or something like this, that 2 graduate students are in one group. No, we want 1 graduate student in each group, right? So how can you just try making the tree? Here you see what you will do. You can assume that your event A1 is that let us just mark our graduate students. So suppose your graduate students, you are just giving them marking 1, student 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we are saying event A1 is student 1 and 2 are in different groups. Student 1 and 2 are in different groups. And then you have A2, that is student 1, 2 and 3 are in different groups. And then you have A3, that is students 1, 2, 3 and 4 are in different groups. Right, so we are interested in basically probability of A3. So we are interested in probability of A3, which is same as probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3. Can you see this? Because if you take A1 is that student 1 and 2, they have to be in different groups. Student 1, 2, 3, they have to be in different groups. So if you take intersection of A1 and A2, you'll get A2. And then you take intersection of A1, A2 with intersection with A3, you'll get A3. So probability of A3 is same as probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3, and this is same as probability of A1 into probability of A2 given A1 into probability of A3 given A1 intersection A2. Right. Now what is the probability of A1? Can you see what is the probability of A1? You want that student 1 and 2 are in different groups. So you see you have 4 groups, each having 4 slots. Right. If I assign student 1 can be anywhere, right? So if we suppose this is the spot for student 1. So we are left with 12 slots for student 2, because we want student 2 be in a different group, and there are total 15 slots left. So probability of A1, what is A1? A1, that we want A1 and 1 and 2 to be in different groups. So wherever is your first student, that group slots are not available for second student. It means that 12 slots are left for the second student, and there are total 15 slots because these 3 slots are also there. So this is the favorable outcomes, and these are the total outcomes. So probability of A1 is 12 by 15. And then what is the probability of A2 given A1? Now you see, A1 and A2 are already in different groups, right? Again you have these things, and because A1 has already it's already happened, so A1 and A2, they are in different groups already. So what is the probability for third student, right? So first and second student, they are already in different groups. What is the probability for third student? We have to give the third student any of these 2 groups. So 8 slots are there, and total slots are 8 plus 3 from here and 3 from here, so 14. Okay, and then what is the probability of A3 given A1 intersection A2? So here you see, you have again, right, already you have given first student, second student, and third student. So you don't have any choice for the fourth student. You have only one group, so you can give any of the slots. So there are 44 slots in this group. You can give any of the slot to the student, and then total slots are 4 from here, 3, 3, 3. So total slots are 13, right? So this is equal to 12 by 15 into 8 by 14 into 4 by 13. So this is your answer. Okay, so this is how you can deal this problem, or you can simply do it like this. You can think in terms of combinations also. So you can think like this. Okay, there are total 16 students, right? And you want to make a group of 4, right? 4 groups of each of 4. So total number of outcomes will be, first you select 4 students, then you are left with 12. So from out of 12, again select 4 students, then you are left with 8 students. Out of these 8 students, again select 4 students for group 3, then you are left with 4 students. So again you have possible combinations, right? This is for your total number of outcomes. And if you look at which are favorable outcomes, in that case you want, you see what you want that you give you keep the 4 students out, 4 graduate students out. So just to take 12 students which are undergrad. So out of 12 students, you make a group of 3, 12C3, then you are left with 9, 9C3, then you are left with 6, 6C3, and then you are left with 3, 3C3. And then these 4 students, you give 1 to each group. So there are possible ways of distributing 1 student to each group is 4 factorial, right? So you calculate it, you simplify it, this also you'll get the same results, which is this 12 into 8 into 4, 12 into 8 into 4 divided by 15 into 14 into 13. Right? So you see, the main thing which you have to learn in this video is that what is this multiplication rule, because again and again you will see in the proofs of many theorems and in the solutions of many problems we are going to use this multiplication rule. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel, and if you have any doubts you can write in the comment box.